Yugabatar Purushottam Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra. An appeal to the humanity at large. Affectionate mothers and revered brothers of the world, the children of immortal bliss. Be concentric with your love, Lord Purushottam Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra, whom millions of men of this planet accept as their supreme spiritual father and regard him as the prophet of the present century. We, the people of the world, believe in that Iswar, God, Allah, whatever we may call him, is not having any particular image. That means we cannot see him in any form of image and consider him as unembodied. And this is real, and indeed that there is the Creator behind each and every creation of the world. So certainly, as we believe in the creation of the universe, so existence of the creator of the whole universe is there, which is called God, Iswar, Allah, etc. We the people can realize such God, Iswar, Allah when he appears before us with a human body to protect and save his creation. Among several communities in defined time or Jug, we can realize him as he came in the form of Sri Ramchandra, Purushottam, Sri Krishna, Bhagwan Buddha, Lord Jesus, Prophet Mohammed, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhagwan Ramkrishna, and presently Juganayak Purushottam Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra, Kalki Avatar. And this is the matter of realization and observation that only he, the Creator, that one, is coming so many times among various communities. So, this is the fact that when the owner of the creation of the universe appears before us, we the people call and consider him as the prophet, Lord Bhagwan, Purushottam, etc. There is no alternative way to realize him, love him, know him without untottering love and attachment, accepting following such embodied prophet, God, Purushottam, Iswar. On August 8, 1962, the Kansas City Times of USA commented, "From India comes a 20th century gospel. Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra is unlike the stereotyped guru." San Rafael, an independent journal of California, asserted, Sree Thakur gives to each man new faith of his belief. The example of this holy man of our own century is inspiring. Young India, July 1925, reported, Desbandhu Siar Das said to Mahatma Gandhi, I have seen many great men in the world, but have never seen such a man with such extraordinary power in all respects and as lovely and active as Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra. I have learned from my Guru the value of truth in all our dealings. He has given me the strength I did not possess before. So long, individual civilization grew on parallel lines, but inventions of modern science and technology, latest political concepts and economic ideas are now bringing the world together. We believe that this new trend shall ultimately culminate into a universal brotherhood of the human species. The world must remain as an abode of peace. If we are to save the human race, science has given men such control over the forces of nature that men may at once destroy the whole world only by pressing a button. At the same time, it is also seen that the spirituality of the scientists takes the form of a rapturous amazement at the harmony of the natural laws, which reveals an intelligence of such superiority that compared with it, all the scientific thinking and technological advances dwindle into insignificance. Humanity must realize today that the only effective protection against total annihilation lies in Dharma. Dharma alone can lead mankind to grow from this world of intellect with its discords, disharmony, and dissensions into a world of peace. Harmony and freedom from fear, all of which constitute the spirituality of man. Thakur Anukul Chandra proclaimed, God is one, Dharma is one, prophets are same. All the prophets of the past converge and awaken in that of the present. Love to him is love to all in the worship of God. Dharma is a life to be confidentially lived for attaining higher and nobler levels, both for the development of the self and others in the environment. True religious life must express itself in love and aim at the unity of mankind. The so-called traditional religions are not dharmas, they are but variations of the self, same supreme truth, that is, dharma which alone preserves, protects, and provides a sure way to salvation for the whole of mankind. Practically, on difference is there between a true Muslim, a true Christian, a true Buddhist, or a true Sikh and a true Hindu. The only difference is that each of them belongs to defined communities. All emphasis is given to inculcate that community is not dharma. Thakur once meant saying, any communal hatred of the community against another which arose and follows any prophet is a sin to the community, a curse on the followers, and a blasphemy to the prophets. To uphold one's own life and growth with that of other is dharma. To bind oneself with the love, Lord thought, the sacred devoutness, and to follow him accordingly is religion. Re again, Ligier attest. Thakur Anukul Chandra declares the degeneration of humanity began at that moment when the unseen God was made infinite and ignoring the seers, the worship of their saints began. A life of Thakur Anukul Chandra. In brief, Anukul Chandra did not cry in the least when he came out. Holy bird of his mother's womb in the early morning on Friday, the 14th September 1888 AD, after staying in the womb for clear 12 months. Rather, a flash of dazzling light illuminated surroundings, and the babe was found smiling, looking around, innumerable at the miraculously interesting anecdotes of his life from the very inception. Anukul Chandra was extremely devoted to his mother. He had a vivid memory of how he grew in flesh and blood in his mother's womb from a teeny speck. From this spontaneous sense of oneness in flesh and soul with his mother, he had a supernatural attraction for her. Whatever he did for her. Such love and devotion for the mother was a living myth. It was so real, so intense, so spontaneous, so all embracing, so active, so fulfilling and rich in varieties. Coupled with this jealous love for her, he had an inquisitiveness that dived deep into matters with an intuitive foresight peculiarly his own. He was not a more passive observer nor an ideal dreamer, but was practical to the core and transformed into action whatever good thoughts came to his mind. His innate scientific insight and deeply inquisitive mind were in complete harmony with his mystic vision of life and all engulfing love for the humanity as a whole. His love and curiosity knew no bounds. Out of sympathy for the coolies who toiled with the sweat of their brows at the neighboring steamer station, Bajitpur, he worked as a coolie with them when a mere boy of 12. He was not a prodigy in learning from the pages of books. He had only one big book, a checkered life lived tremendously. The subtle and stern realities of his first hand experience of a full fledged life were more eloquent than the theories and isms of half lived, distorted lives. He read up to the topmost class of a high school, but could not sit for an entrance examination. His affectionate guardians got him married at the early age of 18 only in 1906, the 13th August. Thereafter, he went to Calcutta to learn the allopathic medical sciences in the newly opened National Medical College at Beaubazar. It was a period of extreme storm and stress. He lived in a murky coal depot in Grey Street and attended his classes at Beaubazar. He could not provide to travel by tramcars for sheer want of money. Dr. Hemanta Kumar Chatterjee, maternal uncle of the great revolutionary leader Baghajatin of Hatkhola, presented him a small box of homeopathic medicines and a book on domestic homeopathic treatment of Mahesh Bhattacharya. The coolies of the coal depot and also of the neighboring sugar factory became his friends. They used to talk of their diseases to him, prescribed medicines and accepted whatever they gladly gave in return. He thus studied, practiced, and earned his livelihood. He became a teeny physician. He had the still nerves to stand on his own feet, to avert all difficulties that came in his way, to mold and utilize them, to glitter and sparkle most when in worst, adversity. From his experience, he discerned it was not at all difficult to earn money. If one can fulfill, he wants to demand of others with sympathy, initiative, responsibilities, and zeal. It will be the interest of others to pay money eagerly in return. At every corner, every bend, and every crossing of the path of his eventful life, Anukul Chandra forged ahead and utilized his experience and vision in transforming others healthy and normal human beings. In 1912, Anukul Chandra came back to his village home to practice. With the wealth of wisdom gained by varied experience, he soon picked up a roaring practice. Rumors spread that he could revive the dead. No patient ever died under his treatment. The clue of all the success was that he never worked for money. He had the inner urge to heal the sick and to give them the best possible relief with medicine and nursing and at times with diet. His sweet, enchanting talks and loving behavior used to charm and revitalize the patients. The physician was then compelled by circumstances to act as their mental mentor as well. Thus, many came to be cured of their diseases both physically and mentally. By the soothing nurture of love and sympathy, they ultimately turned into his followers. In order to mold the billions of the locality, he started to mix with them and passed the nights singing the holy kirtans with them. Overwhelmed with spontaneous love and sympathy for all, his youthful frame used to dance in ecstatic joy with every devotional music, captivating all around him. During those days of Kirtan, he had mystic experiences. He would often become unconscious of his mortal frame. It would give no response to any stimulus, and his heart would even stop beating for a pretty long time. When Anukul Chandra was in his teens, he had only two close associated, Anantanath and Kishori Mohan. Both were his neighbors and playmates. As the intimacy and acquaintance grew deeper, they in the prime of their youth became his staunch followers and devoted disciples. Satish Chandra Goswami of Salgaria, though older than Anukul Chandra by 15 years, was the third. Thereafter followed a continuous stream with Durganath Sannal and Vrindavan Adhikari of Nazirpur in the forefront. Sometimes brilliant utterances in different languages used to come out of his lips to the astonishment of all. People began to flock around him in numbers. Everyone felt the impact of his holy utterances, and the sweet melody of his voice would reverberate in one's heart even long after one had left his company. With his Kirtan party, he toured the neighboring districts of the then undivided Bengal. The Kirtan ragged like a divine spark in the hearts of the masses. He danced so beautifully and enchantingly that men were charmed. Vast concourses of people were seen everywhere he went with his party. People used to jump and embrace one another in an ecstasy and exuberance of bliss. While repeating the holy name incessantly in his mind for days together, his body temperature used to rise as high as 110 degree F in the thermometer. He used to go without a wink of sleep continuously for 6 months or more. Dead creatures were revived as he gazed at them repeating the holy name. Once he was traveling in hackney carriage. The coachman whipped the horse and he instantaneously jumped out of the carriage with a painful shriek, and his companions were surprised to see his back swollen red with the scars of the whip, as if the stripes fell on him. Halos of light were often seen encircling his head, and once an effulgence radiated out of his forehead, illumination the surroundings and the sky. People, to their great amazement, ultimately surrendered and started to call him Thakur or their Lord. Even heinous criminals and debased persons of the locality changed due to healing touch of love, sympathy, and service. Thieves turned into saints, robbers into honest persons, the lewd and drunkards changes miraculously into healthy men of character. All that was unholy disappeared before him. More and more people found in him a true Savior. Time rolled by, and the purpose of inducting nobler sentiments by songs and kirtans were duly served. Thakur Anukul Chandra began to work deeper and deeper for elevating the inner lives of the people around him. He felt the pulse of mankind as a true physician. The trances were no more, and the kirtans were occasional in the cottages of Thakur's village home or in the shade of acacia in the vicinity. People would keep his company for hours together, morning, noon, and night. He would talk on philosophy, on science and technology, on education, on sociology, on politics, on economics, on theology, and even on industry and agriculture. His teachings penetrated deep into human hearts. His admirers crystallized around the central figure there. Thakur, as days rolled on, his admirers and adherents grew in number and were deeply impressed by the manifold genius of this wonderful personality. Gradually, the teeny hamlet of Himayatpur began to thrive with life. Necessities grew, and there sprang up like an unending stream. Tapoban school for boys and girls, a science laboratory, a powerhouse, a mechanical workshop, a chemical works and arts studio, a printing press, an engineering and scientific industry, a cultural center, and so on. Dreams were transmuted into a living reality. The ashram thus vibrated with life, thought, and culture. a synthesis of socio-religious, educational, economic and industrial needs in harmony with the essential urge and aspirations for spiritual life was thus established under the inspiring leadership of the one man. Satsang normally evolved out of Thakur Anukul Chandra, the God-man. Soon thereafter, the devoted intelligentsia of Kustia, now a district town of Bangladesh, under the leadership of Ashwini Kumar বিশ্বাস, compiler of Omyobani, Virendranath Rai, two leading lawyers of Kustia Court, and Sushil Chandra Bose of Jasor, heralded the advent of this God-man to the outside would be celebrating his 30th Advent anniversary in the name of Shree Sree Guru Advent Mahamahotsav at Kustia in September 1918, which received considerable publicity in the then press. Sri Sakko Singh Sen, an able and promising literator, son of reputed barrister Sri Chandrasekhar Sen, attended the ceremony. He introduced himself to Sri Sushil Chandra Bose, the reception in charge, stating, "I have come as a representative on behalf of the prominent men of Calcutta to know all about Vishwaguru." During 1919-1920 AD, Barrister Chandrasekhar Sen and his son Sakko Singh Sen, Barrister F.N. Datto, his wife and their daughter Lady Mitro, wife of Barrister Sir P.C. Mitro, Barrister Satish Chandra Bose and his wife Kamalvasini Bose, Rai Bahadur, Janakinath Bose and his wife Pohabati Bose, parents of Netaji Subhas, Professor Krishna Bhattacharya, gold medalist and able assistant of Sir C.V. Raman, the Nobel literate, and many other eminent persons of Calcutta in quick succession paid their respectful visit to Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra, had detailed discussions and accepted him as their spiritual guide and master. Deshbandhu C.R. Das got himself initiated to him on 14th May 1924 and was his devotee till the last day of his life. Mahatma Gandhi, accompanied by Acharya J.B. Kipalini, paid homage to him by calling upon him in his ashram at Himayatpur on 23rd May 1925 and again in June 1925 in Calcutta, along with Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who subsequently became the first president of independent India on 5th August 1927. The orator, revolutionist Bipin Chandra Pal, and the patriotics Sarala Devi had a darshan of Thakur, visited the ashram and expressed their feelings thus: "Those that are the grasping for breath in the whirlpool of the bustle of their everyday life, to save them even in this province of Bengal, there lies an island of bliss, full of pilgrims for the land of truth. It is the Satsang Ashram at Pabna." Rever A. Butler and others of Australia remarked, "We have been deeply interested as we have inspected the Satsang at Pabna. We consider it the very finest example of self-improvement and self-control in any part of the world." John Anderson, the then governor of Bengal, opined, The Satsang is doing excellent work in education, art, social service, and religion. Every child, boy or girl, and every individual, young or old, male or female, in the ashram was in intimate touch with the Thakur. He knew of their weakness, wants, and hankerings, and molded them accordingly towards superior becoming, each in his special way. Hence, he created various model institutions that would go into build up an ideal society, springing spontaneously out of the necessities of a village folk. A devoted son, a loving husband, a dutiful father, an affectionate brother, a sympathetic neighbor, and a perfect friend, philosopher, and a guide to all. Visitors poured in every day in numbers Asians, Americans, and Europeans to see him and the ashram. With no funds, he began, but he aspired to establish and develop more innovative and extensive institutions. He was the slogan for life, love, and service. Hindus came and accepted him as the living ideal of Aryan culture. Muslims followed Muhammad better when they felt the touch of Thakur's loving regard for their prophet, and Christians loved him as they felt the presence of Jesus more deeply in his company. Though practical to the extreme, Thakur had large, dreamy eyes of a visionary and a heavenly smile on his lips that none could fathom. He gave answers to complicated questions of people of different parts of their world, on different disciplines of life. He could convince in a minute which others took hours to do. Many of these questions were intensely personal, and his utterances removed the heavy burdens from the hearts of manifold questions. Like the Alpine glacier, which melts into a festivity of colors as it proceeds onward, Thakur's life encompassed a variety of channels, each solving the problem of a particular phase of human life. He himself alone knew in what an ocean of bliss for mankind his life would find its consummation. Sree Sree Thakur came over to Badrinath Dham, Devghar in Bihar on 2nd September 1946, about a year before the partition of India. Here again with him, his institutions grew anew on a larger scale. Here two men from different parts of India and abroad came to pay their respectful homage to Thakur, the supreme spiritual father of millions, with the magnetic touch of his life of love. He solved the problems of afflicted millions that flocked around him for solace and peace. People of all classes, high or low, literate or illiterate, were enthused by his example and precepts and out of their love for him. Their godfather toiled on or translate his teachings into practice and to assist him in opening up new avenues of human welfare and world peace. The deeper the makings of a man have their roots in dharma, the brighter shines his torch with which he can guide others on the path of dharma. Thakur Anukul Chandra displayed in himself the roles of a family man, a ceaseless worker, a unique organizer, and also of the most revered spiritual father of millions. Endowed with superhuman wisdom, he became an omniscient being who spent his whole life for the upliftment of all living beings. Such a real life of spiritual advancement combined with temporal activities for the betterment of the mankind will continues to be a beacon shedding its kindly light for all and for all times to come. Amongst innumerable visitors of various colors and calibers, Maharaj Manindra Chandra Nandi, Sharat Chandra Chatterjee, Anurupa Devi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Sharat Chandra Bose, Guru Saday Datta, scientist Satyen Bose, Gyan Bose, Prashanto Mahalanbis, Dr. Urquhart, Maulavi Fazlul Haq, Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, Barrister S.N. Chatterjee, Gopinath Bardoloi, Ananto Sayanam Iyengar, Radhanath Roth, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Dr. Sri Krishna Sinha, Krishna Vallabh Sahai, Guljarilal Nande, Tushar Kanti Ghosh, etc. The top ranking leaders of thoughts and action also visited him and had his inspired advices. Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra, the solved man of the age, laid down his model frame on the 27th of January 1969 AD at 4:55 am in the Bodhnath Dham, Deoghar Satsang Ashram.